So thank you all for coming today. We're going to talk about SIPX and how it can help you establish your digital course readings in Canvas, and how this tool allows for cost savings for students as well as Murray State in general, and how SIPX automatically secures copyright permissions so that the burden is no longer on the shoulders of faculty and staff. So SIPX helps create digital course reading lists by bringing together a wide variety of content data, pricing, and copyright information and library holdings in one place. And the library's administration selected SIPX because it's really the only tool out there that has the depth to pretty seamlessly address how to build these course readings in the Canvas, while helping us make sure that we have copyright permissions for everything we share with our students. And it also brings to the forefront for faculty and staff what resources actually are provided freely via library subscriptions. So we're going to watch a little video. Well, I'll show you some of the partners or the universities that use SIPX. Purdue, CalArts, Vanderbilt is a recent user, Swan, UT Austin. So we're in pretty good company. And I'm going to show you a quick little video. Slightly silly, but it gives a nice little overview. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. Here we go.
Hello. We're so happy that you're interested in learning more about how SIPX helps make education better and more affordable. This is a quick video to help you understand the world that SIPX lives in, the world of teachers and students and course materials. First, some quick background on where SIPX comes from. SIPX originally stood for the Stanford Intellectual Property Exchange. We began as research between the Stanford Computer Science School and the law school, and we spun out as a Silicon Valley startup company in 2012. We were delighted to join the ProQuest family in an April 2015 acquisition. Let me introduce you to three people who will help you understand what SIPX is and the value that we bring to different users on campus. Meet Stuart. He's a student, and like most, he tries his best to keep up in class, but struggles like most to afford all his textbooks and course materials, especially when he has to pay a big tuition bill at the start of every term. He knows the library has research resources, but he doesn't know that a good chunk of the copyright royalties he pays in bookstore course packs are actually free for him to access through the subscriptions the library already bought. Next, please meet Ingrid, Stuart's professor and a very busy lady. One day, Ingrid's work in astrophysics is going to help colonize other planets, so she's got a lot on her mind. She hears a lot from her campus leaders about how it's important to keep costs low for students and comply with copyright rules. But how? Ingrid's not a copyright or open content expert, and maybe she'll drop off a reading list to the bookstore or library to get some help setting things up. She really wants to give her students the highest quality content at the lowest possible cost to them, but doesn't know how to go about doing this and just doesn't have a lot of spare time to worry about course materials processes. Finally, here's Linus, a collections librarian that's trying hard to make the subscriptions he buys useful to his campus so he can justify the purchase price or reallocate his budget better. His bosses, the campus president and provost, keep emphasizing how everyone has to find ways to lower the cost of education for students, and Linus wants to help, but how? The different applications of SIPX's technology are pretty broad, and we are first focused on fixing these problems in higher education. We do this by bringing all of these needs together into a single system where information and resources can be easily understood. So now, instructors like Ingrid or her bookstore library helpers have an intuitive interface that instantly matches in open and library-subscribed resources and also automates any needed time-consuming manual copyright processing steps. It reminds instructors, too, they have experts on campus to help with hard legal questions. We want to bring this help in every way instructors choose to send readings to students, so SIPX is built to connect everywhere, inside all major learning management systems, with bookstores or copy shops that offer course packs, in library reserves and discovery platforms, even if Ingrid just emails readings out to students or sticks them on an open website. Of course, student experience is important too, and SIPX is a true microtransaction system, which means Stuart can now buy per reading if he doesn't have enough money to buy a whole course pack at the start of term. If library reserves or the school decides to foot the bill, they now only pay permissions when a student uses the reading, instead of the old way of paying a whole class's enrollment. Finally, the SIPX system is able to feed back valuable insights on course materials usage. Now, Linus can get a sense of what non-subscribed content faculty pick and students buy, and Ingrid can understand whether her students are actually connecting to her assigned readings. So that's SIPX in a nutshell.
So that kind of shows you where ProQuest SIPX is coming from. So, do y'all use course readings or post articles to Canvas for your students? Do you all?
For the graduate course.
For graduate
yes,
courses? Okay.
More than anything else.
Are any of you already familiar with SIPX?
No.
No? Okay. Oops. So, SIPX was recently embedded into Canvas on the left-hand navigational tool when you go into one of your courses. But an important point to make is that it's not a discovery tool. So it's best to know the titles of the readings you want to upload before you begin. SIPX doesn't really index articles quite in the same way that a discovery tool does. It's just not as robust a search engine, and it doesn't search the same things. For instance, if you wanted to search for an article on bone density, SIPX would return results that have that phrase in the article or publication title, not necessarily based on a keyword-centric search. So that's a big distinction. So it's best to do what we refer to as known item searches. So you have to gather up your materials before you get into SIPX, so you can really return the results that you want exactly. If you want to find articles to upload via SIPX, please use the library's search tool on our homepage, which I'm sure you're familiar with. But that's what that looks like, libu.murraystate.edu. So you can upload articles or book chapters, and you can also upload your own marked up copy of an article, as long as it matches the citation in SIPX, and I'll show you this later on. One important distinction from the library's point of view is that if an instructor downloads a copy of an article and then uploads the PDF to Canvas, that article is only accessed once, even though possibly 30 students could download that PDF in a different class. So with SIPX, we can track how many students access that article, and this helps the libraries determine true engagement data, which in turn impacts collection development and justification for continuing to purchase certain databases and journals. So if you choose not to use SIPX to post articles, we strongly encourage you to post the permalink provided by the publisher of an article instead of uploading what you download, so that we can get that full usage picture. Use of SIPX is not mandatory, but with the closure of Copy Express, as well as budget and copyright compliance concerns, we do strongly encourage you to take advantage of SIPX, and we hope that it will ultimately save instructors time and also protect you from potential copyright infringement. Easy copyright adherence. So SIPX partners with publishers to provide access to materials, and they have here's just a few of their partners, and they're continually building relationships with different publishers to provide content via SIPX. So it's a pretty good variety. And students can go in and they can purchase all the articles at once in a course, or a few, or one at a time, or as they are made available by faculty. So they don't have to purchase everything at one time. They can, if they're tied on, if their budget's tight, they can purchase one at a time as necessary, which is nice flexibility. Faculty can also deem articles as required or supplemental or optional, so that a student can't swing paying for the optional. That's okay. They can buy the required. Currently, payments are taken via PayPal or Amazon. And that being said, depending on what you want to share with your students, you may find that all the articles you want to share are freely available through Murray State, which is an exciting prospect. SIPX does not mean that you can't still use printed course packs. With the closure of Copy Express, you will need to work with printing services, and copyright permissions are still the issue. So you could, for example, print a course pack of all the public domain materials you're going to include. in your course, and then use SIPX for the articles and chapters that require copyright licensure. Does the permissions work? So you don't have to. And we just found this out. We had Stacy Stone, she sent me her syllabus the other day, and looked up a particular chapter that she was interested in sharing. So we found that if you have a chapter of a book that you use from semester to semester, this is perhaps going outside the realm of fair use over time. Hey, Candace. That's okay. So if there's a book that you want to use for a particular course repeatedly and the library does not own that book, you can please let us know. Fair use dynamics change once the library owns the materials. We may be able to purchase it, and if you have a chapter that you want to use and you look at it through SIPX, if we don't already own it, the copyright permissions for that chapter may be $5 per student to download, whereas if the libraries were to purchase an ebook version of that particular book, we could possibly get unlimited downloads in perpetuity, so any student could access it at any time for free. So we're willing to work with you on those situations. There's also analytics for use in SIPX, and this provides usage data for your courses, and it tracks student engagement for materials posted, like what were most accessed and when, as well as what were not accessed at all. So it also helps give collections development staff insight into what subscription and non-subscription content is being shared and used. There's lots of online resources available for you to refer to as you're learning SIPX and building your course packs online. We've created a LibGuide that has a tab on how to use SIPX step by step. There's a section on copyright guides. If you have any questions about copyright, I'm going to be adding some fair use information to that as well. There's quick links here, a PDF is specifically for instructors. There's one specifically for students that you could share with them if you think they might have some questions. It's pretty seamless from the student view, which we'll show you during the tutorial part. There's some information on instructor analytics, so if you want to get into that, that's also available. There's SIPX Higher Ed, that has a wealth of information, all sorts of PDFs, helping you prepare a timeline, SIPX in Canvas. So there's a lot of information. And once you get into SIPX itself, there's also help buttons that you can, I'm having a problem, and that information will be sent directly to SIPX, or you can always just call me. Contacts here on campus would be me or Chris, or I'm available for one-on-one if you run into problems with uploading certain articles. It's not always cut and dry. The person we work with at SIPX is Betsy Post-Garza, and she's very helpful and wanting to help with individual problems as well. So I'll share this PowerPoint with you after we're through here, and so you'll have her contact information. She might be doing some live trainings for us during the semester, so she's been really great to work with. So we're going to move along to our tutorial. If everyone could log into Canvas if you haven't already, and go to the SIPX reading link on the left-hand navigation menu. I need to get mine opened up. And if we need to troubleshoot, Chris has graciously been helping me. Is there a link before you log into one of your courses No, and you have to log into to get into the course itself,
And then you click it on,
and then
like this.
yes,
Okay, yeah, so I don't know what to do at this point.
that's saying to jumpstart.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. I don't understand what's going
Oh,
on here.
okay.
It's
So,
asking you to sort of
right. So the
update
first time,
the
and we
course.
can't mimic this because our course is already set up. So the first time you log in, it's wanting you to essentially set up a civics course and affiliate it with your Canvas course. So it's going to ask you to start some information. It's just asking you to verify the course information there. And then it
That's
fills out
not the one that's not the one I wanted to set it up in. I wanted to set it in the higher level course, the 400 level course. I don't even know why that's coming up. Should I start from scratch?
Yes.
Okay, that's probably what's not right.
Yes.
Okay.
If you went into that
It doesn't really
course
matter, it's just an estimate.
before, Civics will remember. So
Oh, that's why.
that's
Okay.
why. So if you ever clicked on that Civics link before in one course, it will remember and say, "Would you like to duplicate that?"
Why does it want to know the enrollment? Like, you know how it'll change because we're not quite at the beginning of the semester yet.
I don't think it matters. I mean, it
Okay.
defaults to 100, and I mean you can put it in there. I honestly don't know
It
why
doesn't
they
matter.
have.
Okay, it doesn't. Okay.
Just
Okay.
an estimate
Okay.
would suffice. So, yes, click on SIPX readings if you probably haven't gotten there.
Yeah, she's thinking.
This is our test course. And there's a few different scenarios that can occur, and maybe even more that we haven't yet learned about. So the possible scenarios are MSU owns the article or chapter that you're trying to upload, and the PDF is available on SIPX, and you'll see that. But sometimes the MSU owns something, but the PDF is not available due to SIPX not having a direct partnership with that publisher. So that means in that case, you would have to provide your own PDF and upload it into SIPX. Another scenario is that MSU has a print copy, but not a digital copy of the article, and in that case, if you really wanted it available through SIPX, you could copy it and upload it. Another scenario is that MSU does not own an item, and the copyright fees would apply. And then there's also wildcard situations, which
We ran into one of those yesterday.
we had one of those yesterday, and that's fine. We'll work through it. So.
And if the faculty owns the book and they want to put the chapters,
Do you know?
As long as what you upload matches exactly the citation that is available, that is in SIPX, you may do that. The students would still, if the library doesn't own it and there are copyright fees, they would have to pay the copyright fee to download that.
what about articles from like Westlaw? Like Bonnie's got articles for me, and so how does that work? Because she's the only one at the university that has access.
It would so any article or book chapter that you can get and have in your possession, you can create a citation for and upload into CIPX, and then the students would pay if there was an associated copyright or licensing fee to access it. They would pay that. That would be the true for things. It would be true for things coming out of Westlaw because of the way that access works. But if it's in one of our full text databases, like say EBSCO's Academic Search Premier, then there would be no copyright fee associated with it.
So does everybody have an article that you want to test?
I
I
can do a
have-
search and see if there's just something that you want to.
If you don't, I have one that you can search that I know is freely available, so you can follow along with me. So, to start adding reading, just click on Add a Reading, and you can put in the title. The title of the article that I'm going to search for starts with Squaring the Circle. It's an art history article, so I'm going to type in art history. And click search, and there are advanced search options and search tips if you need them. So my article came up, the first one an exact license matches pen, so we own this and we can add it to the course and it would be freely available for the students to download. So from here you would click add to course and it gives you a pop-up so you can make sure that the page range is correct and the title and year and the information.
But she's gonna go through and show you this is if it's freely available, you should. Here it is. So these are not freely
Okay. So then we'll use that right there.
So some of you may be coming to the point where, are your articles available for free, or do you need to find the license? What's happening? So, okay, we've got one that says add to course. Click on that, and you just say, okay.
So, this would be the point where you.
Will it tell us that we already own the book? And that she already owns the book? Like I'm bringing these things up, and it's like 27 cents a page. But so does that mean we don't already own it, or they can just take it out?
It shows you what it searches are the middle collections that are search are.
Oh, it does. Oh, that means that we'll have to first look at the collections before we do this. Because maybe take it out, or maybe they can.
This one.
Right. It's not reserved for the library, and they can go and make their own personal copy. But if you're going to, you couldn't make 30 copies of that. They would need to go and.
Yeah.
When you start waiting outside here.
27 cents a page, that's pretty expensive unless I just use a part of the book or something.
Right.
Yeah, that could be pretty expensive.
Right. So yeah, there's some legwork and decisions I need to make. For things like that. And if this is a book that you are going to use a lot and you want a digital copy, or want to at least check to see if there is one, let us know because we can make it available. If we were to purchase it and we wrote that is available, then we could set it up through SIPX. So it would be downloadable online.
Now the value of this for our side is we can keep track if
So
they're actually
if you load it into SIPX,
getting
you load your
materials,
files,
right?
You can see, if they accessed it.
That's
Not necessarily
if they read it, if they access it. Okay. You think they spend the time to access it, they're going to read some of it. Yeah.
One of the other options, this one, that you can do, I think so, like, just
First page
Utilization marks, but that's usually because it was just, and that will search for reasons. Yeah. Or it's only here, like, kind of one process. So where, yeah, so that's you search the library. So
I'm sorry, page range, I don't even know because I don't have it in front of me. So if I was going to just make the whole book available since it's free, this one's free. What do I do? See, it's no cost, so could I just make the whole page digitally available for them to read it, then later I can tell them what page numbers, because I don't know what this right now, so I need to go to the next. What should I do? What's
yeah,
your
I think
opinion?
it'll,
Should I just get rid of all this, and then, or I have to put a page break in,
I
right?
think you have to put a page range in, so
so
you
that's
need
what's-
to, you could look up, online and see how the pages.
Okay.
That would give you a visual as well.
Well, I mean, sometimes the books are free to look at. Well, this one might be, that's why it's in here free. Okay, so let me see if I can find it online. But that's why it's hard to do this now, because I don't have the book, like I have it in my office. I can use it.
Yes.
But, I don't know.
And we wouldn't expect you to.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you too, it looks like there's a new thing on campus.
And a lot of what you're
besides this, launching something, what's it called? Let me see if I can pull it up. There's,
I saw that too.
did you see that? Yeah, I wonder what that is. That's first of all, that is. Have you investigated that?
I just saw it.
Okay, I just saw it, yep.
So I'm going to continue on with the review file.
That's it, it can be. I couldn't remember the name of it. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so I'm going to click on review file. My reading has been added, but you have to review the file before the students can actually download it. So here is my article. And I can check to make sure that all the images and, you know, the section that I want is there. So I'm going to verify my file to say that this file matches the reading page range. And then it takes me to the place where I can download this file, view it. And then I'm going to show you the student view, but the students won't see all this stuff that we see. They will see basically this, where they can say, oh, this is available for free via Murray State. I don't have to pay anything for this article, so I can download the PDF. And I don't think it says download desktop in their view. I think it says just download, so they can click on that. And yes, service SIPX says students would proceed to the checkout experience. So this is telling me that I can get a free desktop copy, but for them, this would be, they would just be able to download it to their computer. And so when we go back to my course, we can, well, I probably have 12 copies of this, but you can move it easily with this little button over here to assign readings or optional readings, supplemental readings. After you get all your readings in here, you need to make sure that your modules are published. We have other examples where
Are you
article
in
is
Canvas right now?
well, I'm in SIPX.
So Canvas, when you click on the SIPX reading link in Canvas, it redirects you to SIPX. Can you scroll all the way back up to the top?
Yes.
There is a return to